This
I
conference will now be recorded.
I also want to let you know, remind you that the media has been invited to participate in this call as we have with all calls. And we've been very pleased with our media coverage for these previous 8 calls. It's been extraordinary. And I want to thank Donna and Rick and the staff at the Sentinel for the great job they've been doing in covering the phone calls. I would remind you that unless you're a presenter, to please keep your phones on mute until we invite questions. Now, this is the 9th call. It's hard to believe that we're over 2 months into this process, and we'll certainly have ample time for questions and answers. Before we get started this morning, I do want to let you know that the governor yesterday did release phase 2 of the Open Texas strategy, and effective May 31st. I think we got somebody's phone that's got music playing in the background. There we go. Thank you. The governor has announced the Open Texas strategy. I will tell you that it's a phase-in situation, and we do anticipate that we're going to start seeing more business activity locally here. And the checklist that is posted on the Chamber's website deals with things like the professional sports industry, youth sports operators, and youth sports, and those will be effective on May 31st. Then somebody's got their phone on, let me just double check. Somebody does not have their phone on mute. Would you please check to make sure your phone is on mute, please? Thank you.
It sounds like hold music, Wayne. Somebody has a call on hold. It sounds like hold music.
Yeah. Well, shame on them. Can you folks hear me all right through the music? You can just nod if you can. That'd be great. Thank you. Excuse me. Effective May 22nd, the new regulations will kick in for bars, bar patrons, bowling alleys, bingo halls, skating rinks, bowling, bingo, simulcasting, rodeos, zoos, and aquariums. Then on May 18th, the new regulations will kick in with child care centers, child care families, massages, massage parlors and beauty services, youth clubs and youth club participants. And then on May 18th, gyms, exercise facilities, and manufacturers will be impacted by the new regulations. I want to remind you that each of these regulations has certain requirements that you have to comply with in order to open. Again, I would refer you to the Chamber website for a complete list of what the requirements are in terms of compliance on those issues. And all of those things are detailed in the governor's report on the Chamber website. We're going to launch immediately into our reports this morning. Would you welcome with me, please, Sherry Morgan, the director of the Nacogdoches Convention and Visitors Bureau. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, everybody. I'll be quick. We have 2 weeks of being open to the public under our belt. We are open at the Visitor Center Monday through Friday, 9 to 3, and Saturday, 10 to 4. Week 1, we saw about 40 people come through, and 25 of those were on Saturday. And a lot of those people were buying merchandise, which we really, really like. Week 2, this past week was slightly less than that, but we have been receiving really positive, great feedback from those who are choosing to come to Nacogdoches for a day trip to get out, stretch their legs, and see what we have to offer. So that's all been very positive indicators for us. March numbers for hotel occupancy were down 21% over March of last year. We're still a week away from receiving the April numbers, but when we get those, I'll be reporting those to you as well. we forecast that those are going to show a greater downturn from April of last year. As we respond as a community to the gradual reopening of businesses, it's important to keep the following points in mind. Beyond the physical threat posed by COVID-19, this health crisis has taken an emotional toll on us as a society regarding our ability to trust in terms of personal safety. So look for ways in your businesses to reassure your customer base that you understand, that you care, and that you're taking all necessary measures that are within your scope to ensure their safety. How that might look is to train your staff to use mindful and sensitive language when communicating with customers. Be transparent in your best practice implementation. Chipotle right now in Nacogdoches is doing a great job of that. If you order from them through one of the delivery services like DoorDash or one of those, they have a printed postcard that clearly outlines the safety preventative measures that they have taken in the preparation of your food. Great example of customer service in addressing these COVID needs that are coming to the surfaces. Identify common touch points throughout your businesses and reduce them where you can. Keep your front door open if you can. Keep doors where people would usually have to touch the handle or push on it to open, as long as you're still within and maintaining fire code safety precautions. Keep a mind's eye on those common touch points and reduce them where you can. Sanitize them if you can't reduce them. Provide public hand sanitizing stations throughout your business. Yesterday, we talked in executive staff with the city about the possibility of putting public hand washing stations throughout our downtown area to take that cost burden off of independent business owners in our downtown and providing it out in the open so that people can, again, maintain these best practices that have proven to be effective in staving off COVID-19. Manage your expectations. We are never going to go back to a time like it was before before COVID-19, before we knew that this virus was threatening us. Focus on where we are right now in the present and just look forward and adjust accordingly. And lastly, apathy is contagious, as are fear and panic and dismay. But the good news is, so too are enthusiasm and positivity. So look for the good and then spread the word, because it matters. Thanks.
Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that very much. And for those of you on the call, Sherry and I have been asked to host an electronic meeting of the restaurateurs, and we've agreed to partner on that in the near future. They have questions about benchmarks. The restaurateurs have been given the opportunity imminently to go to a 50% capacity. They just would like to share best practices, and Sherry and I will be hosting that in the very near future. We'll keep you posted on that. Again, thank you, Sherry, very much. I'm pleased to welcome this morning Senator Robert Nichols to the call. Senator Nichols, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you. I will be even shorter. The big news, of course, was yesterday. I'm not going to go through what all the governor said. It's in all the news. You've all read it. Only thing I'd really add is as the number of tests dramatically increases, the number of cases actually has been going down. It had stayed level for a long time. Now it's going down. Number of admissions to hospitals is down, and so on. So it's on a positive. Locally there, your Pilgrim's Pride plant has been, they're doing testing. Texas Department of Emergency Management is testing there. Only other thing is we're still, and I've got 6 or 7 people in this Senate office that are still working, some with the Texas Workforce Commission on unemployment claims. And with that, unless somebody has a question, that's all I've got to report. Are there any questions
for Senator Nichols? Again, Senator, thank you so much for all the work you're doing, keeping us informed. It's very helpful for us to get a snapshot of what's going on the state level, and we appreciate the great representation that you have. And speaking of equally great representation, I'm pleased to welcome Representative Travis Clardy, who's been hosting a weekly call on Friday. Good morning, Representative Clardy.
Good morning, Wayne, and good morning, everybody. Good to see you smiling faces again. The faithful few that love to be seen on camera, that's always brightens my day. But I want to echo some of these Senator Nichols said about what is going on locally. I was texting this morning with the Deputy Commissioner of Tatum's Division of Emergency Management. And yes, I don't think Judge Sal is on the call this morning. But I talked to him frequently this weekend and yesterday. A couple of things that are going on that are an import, I think, for numbers, and this is really, I think, important for all of you, on this call that are leaders in our community to be aware of what is about to happen. They being Tatum and the task force doing the testing are on site as we speak at Pilgrim Pride in Nacogdoches. Their goal is to test every employee, and that is around 1,200 individuals. At the same time, they are also conducting testing of all staff and residents at our long-term care facilities in Nacogdoches County. So if you add those totals up roughly, it's probably in excess of, or in the neighborhood of 2,000 tests will be conducted in the next several days in Nacogdoches. That's in addition to what has been done at the DeWitt School of Nursing with our 2 hospitals in that project, I mean, Sherry was talking about, where we've done 25, 30 a day pretty faithfully since this all started. And I will say this, Nacogdoches County has had a very aggressive testing since this started. And I think we have better data, better information to work with. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. When you see some of our numbers compared to surrounding counties, they are elevated, but it's because we have been so diligent, I think, in making sure people who are symptomatic have been tested. But when you combine those numbers, we are likely to be, when this whole episode of the state and our continued testing, to be in the neighborhood of 4,000 tests in a county of, somewhere around 75,000 people. That's a significant per capita testing percentage, and that's a good thing. But what we will see from this will be a bubble in our total numbers. But I love what Senator Nichols just said, and he's absolutely correct. We can look at the total number of infections, and that means one thing. We can look at fatalities, that certainly is important, that means something else. But to me, the key number as this is developed is really hospitalizations. And part of that equation is what is our capacity locally and statewide for hospitalizations. And right now, I can tell you statewide, we're operating at about 5%, certainly that's 10% of capacity that is dedicated to the treatment of COVID-19 patients. And that's well below the number of ventilators and other necessary equipment. And this is all going on while we have seen emerging treatments and therapeutic measures, which I think are resulting in the numbers that you see. You take Texas as a large state, compare it to New York, New Jersey, California, and others. We're doing so much better. We've had the benefit of learning lessons not only from Europe, but also from our sister states around the country. So I think we're really poised to come out of this and come out strong. So I support what the governor did yesterday and continue to emerge our economy and activity throughout the state. I know there's concern about it, and those concerns are legitimate. That's the one thing I want people to understand. I don't think, has everybody seen the video that George W. Bush and McConaughey did about this issue? I think they struck the right tone. We ought to be able to keep 2 thoughts in our head at the same time. And these are competing ideas of, what do we do to maximize safety? What do we do to minimize economic harm? And those 2 things are not mutually inconsistent. And so, I think let's just keep pushing what we're doing. Do expect, though, this is a thing I want to caution everybody on the phone to be aware of, and so have the information to respond when you hear it. We will see our numbers go up as these numbers come in from the testing. We will see our numbers go, and I think dramatically, the total number of infections. But when that occurs, that's because we have nearly about 200% increased our testing in a week period. And so let folks know that's good data, it's good information, but it doesn't change the fundamentals. And I think we're going to see that percentage drop, and most importantly, we're not going to see the hospitalizations spike. I don't think that's going to change. So, and then the other, message, which we're all saying, Sherry, you pointed this out very well. Let's continue to practice safe measures. People that are sick or infirm or concerned need to stay away and stay home and not expose themselves. Those that are healthy need to take steps where they remain healthy, and just in case they may be infected, to take those steps to minimize contact with others where it's really not necessary. And we'll get there soon enough. But this is an important 2 weeks for Texas, not just Nacogdoches, but for the entire state. And let's see where we come out. I'm hoping by June 1, Governor Abbott can continue with the plan that has been developed to move us to phase 3, which is a further opening of the economy. But I do believe Governor Abbott, who, by the way, just if you remember in the paper yesterday, is under no risk of being placed under house arrest if he comes to Nacogdoches County. So don't be worried about that. I think he's going to be okay. But I think we've got a good plan driven by the data. And if we come to June 1 and things look solid, we'll continue to open the economy, and we're going to push through this thing through the summer, and all will be well. Sooner or later, this too shall pass. So that's the report from your representative. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much, Representative Clardy. And just one question from me are you going to have your call on Friday?
Yes, thank you for that reminding me. I was supposed to make that shameless plug myself, but yes, we'll do a 3 o'clock Friday afternoon call. Last Friday with the Judge Chris Davis in Cherokee County, we uncovered the story of the great minnow shortage of 2020. That was an impressive revelation. I don't know who our guest will be this week. We're looking at that. So but stay tuned. We'll promote it, push it out. But hopefully we'll get some good anecdotes from around the district in Cherokee and Rusk and Nacogdoches counties about what's going on and how this is working. But thank you, Wayne. But yes, we're on for 3 o'clock. Look for your it'll be a Facebook Live program, and we'd love for y'all to join.
Thank you, sir. Any additional questions for Representative Clardy?
Yes, actually, Wayne, this is Keith Rayburn. I do have a question for you. Is there any information that you just presented to us published in the local newspaper? Because I see a lot of fear out there over the stats.
Yeah, great question. And I've been talking with Judge Sal about this. We're going to talk again. And in fact, I'm going to call the TDM Deputy Commissioner this afternoon. I'm doing my first live event in Jacksonville today. It's the first time I've ventured really away from home, but we'll have our masks and we'll be safe and all that. But I'm going to call the Deputy Commissioner to find out how they're going to report the information out of the Pilgrim's plant. And then we're going to come up. But I think that's one reason I want you all to know that we need to be prepared for these numbers to again, kind of bubble up, to move up. But yes, we want to get with, and I'm sure I'll talk to Josh Edwards and folks of the paper and local media, but I'll do this in conjunction with Judge Sal and Mayor Brophy, and make sure we're on the same page. And there is absolutely zero to hide on this. There is nothing that needs to, there's nothing, it is what it is. And again, I think it's good news. So Roy, I see you sitting there. It's important that I think, and I'm so proud of how the city and the county and all of our leaders have really worked together, communicated well. Beyond that, I know that the cities of Lufkin and Nacogdoches stay in contact, and other cities around us. And I know that Judge Sal stays in contact with Judge Harbison and Shelby and Angelina and surrounding counties. So, if you look around to the map of Texas, we're kind of a unique hotspot. The good news is we were not singled out by Governor Abbott because of what's happening in Amarillo. We've seen that spike, which again is driven by the meat packing plant, the IPP plant in the Amarillo area. We may be on the cusp of that, but what I hope will happen is that we'll deal with it, we'll understand the facts, we can explain those better, and that we will see there's really no necessity to slow down or do anything differently in Nacogdoches or surrounding counties, like those few counties that were singled out yesterday in the governor's order. I think we can understand it better. It was a great question, but yes, I think we will be looking to have immediate response in the paper and any other media available to explain, here's what we're looking at, here's what we expect the numbers to be. I think that'd be the right thing to do. It's a good question.
Again, thank you, Representative Clardy. We really appreciate your input. And I want to now introduce the president of Stephen F. Austin State University. Good morning, Dr. Gordon. It's great to have you with us this morning.
Well, good morning, everybody. And this has been a pivotal week for SFA because we've really moved from the COVID-19 response to the COVID-19 recovery phase. And so we've put together an open SFA task force. I've asked Dr. Steve Westbrook to chair that group. And this group has several different areas that they're working on, and literally dozens of folks from across campus looking at how we open SFA, kind of mirroring the Open Texas, looking at that from an academic standpoint, athletics, all of our auxiliary services, recreation, and a variety of other areas. So what we're looking at is we do have a new button on our main page of the website. It's Open SFA Fall 2020. We're really looking at, again, following all governmental guidelines to ensure everyone's safety. But we are going to be in a phased approach, opening things up. As far as the academic side, we're going to have an announcement about the specifics of how fall semester is going to be, education is going to be delivered. And we'll make that announcement sometime around the end of June. But what we're looking at is a very flexible, like what I refer to as a high flex approach to the to education, and that will be taking into consideration student learning styles, faculty teaching styles, the health, safety, and risk tolerance of both faculty, staff, and students. We are, over the course of the summer, going to be equipping over 80 classrooms with technology so that we can deliver education both face-to-face and remotely in a simultaneous manner. And some of the CARES funding was specified for increasing technological infrastructure, and that is how we will use it. So we're looking at an approach where we'll have the ability for students to take classes face-to-face in a socially distant manner, as well as, if they don't feel comfortable in that environment, to take those classes in a fully remote style. So it's a very highly flexible methodology that we're looking at. Again, by the end of June, we'll have all the specifics hammered out. We also are looking at some courses that are 8-week courses versus the typical 16-week courses. And so what we anticipate is, if, like some of the experts are saying, there is a resurgence in COVID-19 late fall, our students will still be able to get the education that they came here for. And if it's not face-to-face, it can be remote if that resurgence occurs. If there is no resurgence, then again, following the social distancing guidelines, we'll be able to have face-to-face instruction as well. We also are looking at how we're going to be opening up our student housing, campus dining, and all of the support services that we put around our students so that they can be successful. We're looking at, as well, developing a one-stop shop, and that's for students to be able to get answers to questions, help with various things around campus, like housing issues, financial aid issues, registration issues, holds, those kinds of things. And we're looking at doing that remotely as well. So we're really this week shifted gears, and We have dozens of folks across campus in several different task forces that are looking to have this set up by June, that the Open SFA website will be updated. And what we're also looking at is, June is a time when we can make these decisions, get it out there, share it with all of our constituents, and then that will give our students and our faculty that time necessary to prepare both their coursework, I like to say be prepared mentally, physically, and emotionally. And so that's what we're working on, and we'll give you updates each week, and I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Gordon. We certainly appreciate all of the proactive steps you're taking in running that enormous institution. Any questions for Dr. Gordon?
Yeah, Wayne, this is Keith Rayburn. Dr. Gordon, thanks for being with us this morning. I'm a small owner that has the location on campus in the student union. We received one email when this first started, and since then we have received no additional communication on what the status is. We're going to be closed for 5 months. That's a significant impact on small businesses. Are you guys reaching out and trying to touch base with the small businesses and let us understand what our options are and what the path forward is?
Yes. Two things. First, we'll be keeping our website updated. But second, for all of those auxiliary services, we will be having our chair of the committee, Dr. Westbrook, reaching out and letting folks know how we're going to be proceeding in this recovery phase. We don't have any specific dates yet where those various entities will open, but we'll definitely keep you informed on what that looks like. The same thing goes with, we've had a lot of questions about camps, since summer is a very big time for camps and other activities on campus. We're looking at a 30-day rotation, and so within the next couple of days, we'll have some announcements on that as well. Again, once we get the governor's orders, we really look through those and see how they will affect the institution, and then we will begin sharing that information with all those constituents. So I'll have Dr. Westbrook reach out to you and kind of give you the best timeline that we have at this time.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gordon. And again, thank you for your participation here today, sir. We'd now like to hear from the President and CEO of NEDCO, the Nacogdoches Economic Development Corporation, Larissa Philpott. Good morning, Larissa. Maybe we don't have Larissa. Well, moving right along, I do know we have Gary Lee Ashcraft, the President and CEO of the Nacogdoches Area United Way. He's going to give us a social service update. Good morning, Gary Lee.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Hang on just a minute. There we go. I've got about 5 devices working in here trying to get to you all. It's kind of fun. I have 3 things. What I generally talk about is action items that we do. The big one is Caroline Garner has done an outstanding job revising a program that runs through United Way Worldwide, and it's called the Emergency Food and Shelter Fund, which through phases, she's caught up several phases that provides money to those agencies that are involved with food and shelter, our food pantries, Love Inc., those kind of folks. And she has gathered up over the past little while, probably in excess of $150,000 plus that's being allocated to these agencies. And it's an excellent job. It's a very tedious process, and I'm not one for tedious things, and she has bore down on that and managed to get those funds into the hands of people that really, really need funds, like Hope. If any of you all leaders out there helping other people eat, my goal today is to find 500 bags of rice. It doesn't have to be the most expensive rice on the planet, and 500 boxes of cereal. So if anybody has that kind of stuff in your pantry, we have a COVID fund that is now fully funded thanks to Encore and a grant from the Bright Foundation of $25,000 plus. People have been hitting our COVID fund button. That's what we got on our website, and donating very nice money to that fund. So it's in excess of $25,000, and we're doing what we can to through an allocation process. We don't just willy-nilly, toss the money out. Provide funds like the Solid Foundation. I was talking to John Cannings yesterday, and he's run out of funds to pay his drivers of the buses that they use to get kids around to various venues that are learning venues and fun venues. And I asked him what he needed. He needs $1,200, so we'll be writing him a check today. That kind of thing is going on through United Way. That's our way of trying to raise money, help the agencies, keep them going. And I can tell you that not only our 21 agencies, but agencies like GetCap, Karen Swinson and her crew, they're doing lots and lots of good things to keep the lights on for people. Patty Goodrum at Love Inc. is keeping people's rent paid so they can go back to work. She's dealing with people that are out of work and that kind of thing. And I'm hopeful that Pilgrims, I'll just throw this out here, can survive and pass the test today, Travis, because a shutdown of that meat plant is going to cause a lot of issues in our community. That Pilgrims puts out a lot of money. They've put out a lot of chicken for our agencies that run out of food, things like that. It's a very solid company. So say a prayer about that one. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
Hey, Wayne, this is Travis. Let me jump in there on one thing that Gary said. To be very clear, there is no discussions whatsoever about the plant shutting down or being closed. What we would see in what we've seen, I've been involved in this issue for other surrounding counties with other companies that have large meat processing plants. And what they will do is there may be some slowdown because of the necessity of taking employees off the line, but the plants are remaining open. They are doing extraordinary things for additional hygiene, sanitization, et cetera, as they continue to operate. But there is a zero risk that we will see a shutdown of our plant locally or other plants in the area. What they do want to know is we need the epidemiological data of what the cases look like and the number of cases. And then to the extent that we identify, we'll get the results back pretty quickly because that allows them to take those measures to quarantine and isolate those employees to the extent that we have cases. I think we'll see a number just because we're tested 1,200, but I don't think we're going to see some huge percentage of that 1,200 testing positive because again, these people, there would be a large number of them sick, and you would know those things. So let's don't, again, testing is what we need to do to identify and get back ahead of the virus. So as it continues, and it will continue to spread until we have a vaccine, and then probably like the flu, even after there's a vaccine. So we need to have we're developing the mechanisms going forward for the years to come that when there is somebody gets sick, isolate, identify, contact trace, and contain that so everything can go forward. So, but there is to be very, very clear, there is no widespread breakout of contamination or infection at our Pilgrims plant locally or the others around, nor for that matter at our nursing homes. We've had a couple of hotspot nursing homes throughout East Texas. But again, it's to establish a baseline in real time and then take those preventative measures and be prepared to act if there is any kind of an outbreak or infection. Now that's just, I wanted to clarify that. So otherwise, Gary, that was a great report.
Thank you, Representative Clardy.
Thank you, Travis. I appreciate it.
Thank you, folks. I'm also now going to introduce the director of the Angelina College Small Business Development Center, our friend Larry Cain, who's probably the most overworked person in East Texas. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Glad to be back in my office today for the first time in about 6 weeks. Angelina College is opening up the campus over I believe 6 phases, and I believe we're into phase 3 right now. So this is my first time to be back in our community services building, which is now called Workforce and Community Education. We're under very strict guidelines, controlled environment, doors are locked, not allowing visitors to come in. We're still not able to meet one-on-one with our clients, unfortunately. But it is good to be back in the office where the phones work and the lights work and the air conditioning works and all that. So glad to report that. Not a lot of changes with the disaster funding, the EIDL program, economic injury disaster loans. They're still taking applications only from agricultural businesses, farmers and ranchers. So it's not too late. If you know anybody in that industry that needs some money, have them call us if they need help in getting to the site to apply. We have clients now that applied about 60 days ago that are now receiving offers of loans. Not sure why it took that long. I guess one reason, they had about 5 million applications to work through. So the clients I've talked to have been offered anywhere from $1,000 to $150,000 under the EIDL program. That's a 30-year payout at 3 3/4% for small businesses, 2 3/4% for nonprofits. EIDL program is still there. As far as I know, there's still funding. Not sure how long that will last, and I have no idea when the application process will be open to other businesses other than ag-related businesses. On the PPP program that everybody's heard so much about, there's still a lot of money left in that fund. Very few applications being processed now. One banker told me yesterday that they're no longer accepting applications. I believe that there are still several banks around that are accepting applications on that program. The attention now is, of course, on forgiveness. The people that started receiving this money several weeks ago are going to have to do the proper steps to get the loan forgiven. And the biggest news of the week is that Treasury and SBA has come out with an application where you can apply for forgiveness. That's a good thing. At least the banks don't have to come up with their own forms to use. The bad news is it's an 11-page application when you include instructions. And I briefly looked at the application, and it's not an easy form to fill out. I guess if we were expecting the federal government to come up with a nice 1 or 2 page application that we could all do, that's just too high of expectations. That didn't happen. But the form is there. You can go to the Treasury Department website and easily find the forgiveness application form if you want to start looking at it. And we will be getting training on that so we can help our clients complete that application. That's really all I have right now, Wayne.
Thank you, Larry. Any questions of Larry? Well, again, thank you very much, Larry, for all you're doing, and we'll try to get that form downloaded onto the chamber website as well, so that our members can have access to it as well. We appreciate that. Next, we're pleased to have our superintendent, Dr. Gabriel Trujillo, with us today, and also Les Linebarger, the communications director for the Nacogdoches Independent School District. Good morning, Superintendent and Les.
Wayne, obviously I'm not Dr. Trujillo. He's involved in another online meeting, which many of our existences have come down to. So I'm going to step in his place here and go over a couple of things. Wayne, our hybrid graduation ceremony for the class of 2020 begins Friday at Nacogdoches High School and will continue through Thursday, May 28th. During those 5 days, each graduate will go through a personal ceremony at the auditorium at the high school, with guests present. The individual presentations will be combined into a video and streamed online at 7 p.m. Friday, May 29th. And you can check the Nacogdoches ISD website, nacisd.org, or our Facebook page to see where the streaming of that video will take place. The day before, on Thursday, May 28th, NHS will hold a parade for the class of 2020. Graduates will gather at 6 p.m. in the parking lot of Dragon Stadium to prepare their cars. And the parade will begin at 7 p.m., led by our NISD police, and will circle the high school on Stallings Drive, Appleby Sand Road, and Maroney Drive before ending back at the stadium. The community is encouraged to come out and watch, of course, observing all social distance measures. And in both cases, the graduation ceremony and the parade, all social distancing and safety considerations will be adhered to by the school district. Admittedly, these are not the ideal ceremonies we want to have. That would mean holding our typical well-run graduation ceremony. But these were the best options available to us during this time. We want to honor our students, but we also have an obligation to make reasonable choices to safeguard the health and safety of the community. In the coming days and weeks, NISD, like school districts around the state and around the nation, will be making decisions on what the 2020-2021 school year looks like. We're not ready to announce anything yet. Information still continues to be rolled out by Texas Education Agency, but we are considering a number of options for what the upcoming school year looks like. Student nutrition continues to provide meals for Nacogdoches ISD children. There are 5 locations, and those locations and sites are in hours can be found on the district's website. Student nutrition will transition to its summer meal program in June, and those details are being worked out based on direction from the Texas Department of Agriculture, which oversees school lunch programs in the state. And finally, distance learning in the school district continues for 1 more week. The last day of classes on our academic calendar is Thursday, May 28th. That's all I've got, Wayne.
Thank you, Les. Any questions of Les? Again, thank you very much, Les, for that very thorough report. We appreciate all you folks are doing over there as well. I'm now pleased, certainly last but certainly not least, to introduce the President and CEO of the Texas Forest Country Partnership, giving us kind of a regional update. Our friend and colleague, Nancy Windham. Good morning, Nancy.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay? Can
yes,
everybody hear me all right? Okay, perfect. I'm having to use 2 devices here. Quickly, first of all, I'll just let you know that we are definitely moved into our new office here at the DECOG building. Working out very nicely. Appreciate everyone who helped move us in. We're right down the hall from the economic development efforts and with Lonnie Hunt, so we'll keep a close eye on him from time to time. But just want to give you a regional update. Some of it has to do with the pandemic, but most of it just has to do with a regional outlook as we move forward to getting back open, and we can't stop not going out and marketing our region, nor can we stop, and we need to emphasize on our current businesses for business retention and expansion. But I'll start off with Kelly is going to be sending out some documents. We had, for those of you that do remember, we had a SET program done several years ago, and that SET is called Stronger Economies Together. And it's a regional strategic plan. It took us about 2 years to do. In February, we requested an updated report, which you can review. In it is a lot of information about the region, about the kind of jobs, and I'll be getting back with SFA and Angelina College because it shows about the kind of jobs that are out here in our region and what we have existing, what we need to be looking for, what industries are growing. I just wanted to let you know we'll have another update because the pandemic has affected those reports, but it's interesting data for you to look at. Secondly, Friday was our board meeting, the first one we had virtual or teleconference. We had a go-to meeting. It went without, it wasn't flawless, but we had a few hitches on it, but it was really good. Larissa Philpott and Ian Gibson are our two Nacogdoches County board members. They were both in attendance on that call. Lonnie Hunt gave a report and an update on the census report and broadband. His presentation is going to be sent out to everyone on this call as well for your viewing. If you have any questions, you can contact Lonnie or myself. Thirdly, Manuel Martinez with the Texas Department of Commerce reported out it is a state urgent need. It's called Sun Fund, and they're available following natural disasters and events. And this comes through the Texas Department of Agriculture. It's a Texas CDBG National Disaster Fund. She'll get that out, and I'd encourage those of you that might qualify for that to go ahead and submit. Manuel's contact information will be available for you on that one. Another one reported out from Bob Bashaw with DECCOG was the EDA. For those of you that don't know, the U.S. Department of Commerce announces the availability of $1.5 billion in the CARES Act. We'll send out information for that as well. Also, some of you may have already received an invitation this Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Senator Cornyn wanted to have another virtual teleconference. So the East Texas Manufacturing Alliance and the Texas Forest Country Partnership will be hosting that call. We are soliciting questions at this time. We can send out that information for those of you that would like to join on that call as well. Please submit questions ahead of time. And then also, we are also supporting projects within our region, and I'll give you an example of one that we received on Friday, and encourage each and every one of you that you, as you move forward with different projects and need support on a regional basis, please contact our office. We'll be more than happy to do that. For instance, the Sabine River Authority is requesting a permit for a marina and a resort. We are participating in that project. It'll allow the Sabine River Authority to develop 2 recreational areas on the Sabine National Forest. I know right now things are limited for us to get out and about, but this is a wonderful opportunity for our region to enhance that particular area for recreation purposes. I will be sending out some more information, Kelly, to you on that later, just to keep everybody informed and appreciate any support we can get for that project. And that pretty much sums it up, except be sure and mark your calendar for November the 18th. That is our date set for our annual Economic Development Summit. The governor's office has reached out and would like to partner and be involved in that with us. So we're looking forward to a robust meeting, and hopefully we'll be able to meet face to face at that time. And that's about it for a wrap up, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions or be available. Everybody has my contact information, but we are moving forward and keeping our region up and in front of everybody as well. We do have a support letter that's gone to the governor's office, and we have sent it directly to Tesla, just to make sure that they know that we're here, even though they may be looking at Austin or other places. We just want to keep our name and our region out first and foremost with them as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy, very much for that complete report. Any questions of Nancy? If not, folks, just a few reminders. First of all, on the call for Senator Cornyn, the chamber was also invited to participate as well. We will be sending that information out. Kelly will be posting it shortly on the chamber website. Do want to remind you that there's a restaurant and retail opening guide that the chamber has put together and updated that's on there that gives you the hours and the conditions in engaging with the retail industry in Nacogdoches County and the restaurant industry. Do want to remind you this call also is going to be, it has been recorded and will be posted later this afternoon. For those of your colleagues that missed it and would like to participate. And certainly last, I want to remind you about the Governor's Small Business Seminar tomorrow, which will be on business business stories for an evolving future. That should be a very good program. I'd encourage you to participate on that as well. Any final thoughts? Listen, I want to thank everybody, all of our participants, both in terms of our presenters today. I can't tell you how much feedback, positive feedback we get from the people that really appreciate the information. I think the best way to tamp down anxiety is great communications, and all of you have helped us accomplish that. I also want to thank those of you who have taken the time to engage by calling in on this call. Today at peak, we had about 70 on this call here today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate all of your participation, and we certainly welcome your feedback at the chamber. And with that, we will end the call. Thank you very much, folks.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wanted to say something really quickly. I tried to get in there before you said anything. This is Lexi Pierman with Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. I'm y'all's new county extension agent for family and community health and 4-H youth and development. We're not super business related, but I just wanted to let everybody know that we have tons of resources right now for the CARES Act, for activities regarding youth, obviously agriculture, food safety, just a plethora of things. So if anyone needs anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're still in the offices, we're at home working, and we're just here to support the community with whatever anyone needs right now. So thank you so much, and I've really enjoyed being able to be on these calls.
Lexi, we enjoyed having you as well, and thank you for that contribution. We appreciate that, and feel free anytime to make an announcement or ask to be on the agenda.
Yes, sir.
Anything else, folks? Thank you very much, folks. Have a great week.